everything that we are going to learn today, or everything we're going to learn at any point in time, the greatest foundation that you can have so that you filter everything through and process everything through is to understand that he knew you before he wove you into your mother's womb. He knew you. He created you. He designed you. And he wove and infused a purpose into your soul. So since he knew you before you were even woven into your mother's womb, he set you aside and he consecrated you. So there is an intention for your life, and that intention is connected to your giftings, your talents, your specialness, your weirdness, your quirkiness, your different stuff. And that's where we get in trouble, is when we think that we're supposed to compare ourselves to other people, or feel the need to, or just feel insecure, so we start to. And yet, we can't compare ourselves because we're incomparable. There is not another you. There is not someone who resembles you in the sense that he wove something very special, uncommon inside of you. And you're feeling that it's quirky or weird or strange because it's not like maybe the rest of the family or the rest of that is your setup. That is the part of you that causes you to have some special elixir, special magic, specialness. And instead of pushing it down and diminishing it, shine with it. Shine with it. Let it shine. Because those strange pieces of us are actually connector pieces, because there's other people in this world that have been selected to connect with, whether it's your words, your heart, your spirit, your intention. It will naturally connect with the people that are in the mix, with your mix. Am I making sense? Okay, so if you know that he created you intentionally, designed you for a purpose and a victorious life. A victorious life. He didn't design you for a life of struggle and hardship, even though we have struggle and hardship in our life. We were not designed to, that was so perfect, like stay in that zip code, stay in that address, stay in that place. Struggle is just part of the fabric that will happen, the trials and tribulations, but he tells us in scripture that the world has tribulation, but yeah, he came to overcome. He has overcome the world. So we're not to get stuck in the tribulation, even though there is tribulation. But so what happens is that we have a tendency to, and this is, from all the years of working with women in our extraordinary company and helping women to believe in themselves, what I have come to understand is that we actually adopt a identity of struggle. So that if we don't have struggle, we feel uncomfortable because we assume that that's what is meant to be, or we have a tendency to do things that make life more complicated than it needs to be, and we don't even really know we're doing it sometimes. Usually we don't know. Usually it's unconscious because it is a pattern, it's a habitual behavior, or it's because we identify with how we were raised and what was going on in our household, or how it evolved, all those kinds of things. But the cool part about it is that you can absolutely shift the patterns, the habits, and the behaviors in your life if you choose to. So Julie and I were talking yesterday, that's like the bottom line, if you choose to. I have a grandson who's 4 years old, and we just found out that he's diagnosed with low-level autism. And my daughter grabbed onto it and said, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure out what we need to do so that he is, because actually the symptoms of it are reversible if you can figure out, of course, all the pieces of what needs to change for him. And my son-in-law was in denial. So when you're in denial, you're not going into action, or trying to figure out the solutions. You just want to pretend it's not so. And those are all just normal things. They're all, I mean, they're human things. But when you get to a place where you realize it is necessary for me to make a decision, to be willing to change something, to figure it out, to dedicate myself to making it better, that's like a line in the sand kind of thing. And I know I'm totally preaching to that, to the saved, because we're in a company that's all about figuring out the change, figuring out how to be better at what we do. And that's what's so remarkable about Mary Kay, because since I have been retired now for a little bit, I've had enough of a distance of not being immersed in it that I realized there is nothing else in the entire universe that is like our company, our opportunity, our sisterhood, the spirit of this. There's nothing else like that. That is intentional in the sense that God created our company to be a light. And for those of us who are a part of it to carry that light and that torch, because in direct sales, that's what you do. You are in front of the other people. When you're sitting at a desk in a corporate office, you are not in the midst of, you are not making an impact in the same way that we have the opportunity to do that. So the question is, what am I going to pour into the women that I'm sitting in front of, and how am I going to affect them? And we'll talk a lot about how to put that into the mix. So the cool part is identifying the thoughts that actually keep us operating at a place that doesn't serve us. Because we don't not even know we're thinking that. But when you figure out that you're thinking it, you can take it captive. And then you can say, oh my gosh, every time I think this, every time I feel this way, every time I go that direction, I'm actually perpetuating something that is working against me instead of for me. So bottom line is, He is working for you. In the perimeters of our lives, always working for the sake of, for us, always. And He created us to lead a victorious life, and He put the provision of that victory into the world, into our lives. So the provision is there. So the reason why I feel like that's the most important thing is because no matter what happens to us, if we know that He has the answers for us, He has the solutions for us, He is available to us, and He's already figured out the way to get through it. That has already happened before we even went into it, before we even had the challenge. If we know that that's the case, then that is to give us, that is where the peace is supposed to come from. We're not alone. We are not left without an answer. We're not going to stay in this place where we feel as if we've hit a wall and we don't know what direction to go, even though we can feel that way. There is a direction. There is an open door. There are messengers. There are people that will deliver the answers. And all is going to be extraordinary. So today is going to be a breakthrough break. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Me too. I'm so